I just want to see a few more things. I want to see if the Days Gone looks any better than it used to.
I mean, I don't know about the comparisons, but it looks pretty much the same to me from what I remember of it. But again, I didn't play it, so or really watch anyone play it. Did anyone like? That's my number one thing is like Days Gone of remaster, right? Like, but why? Because they can.
I don't know. They're remastering a bunch of shit that does not need remastering.
Yeah.
That's just what Sony's been doing, and it makes no sense. I think there were a few people that wanted a sequel, and they were just like, "Oh, well, let's just remaster the first one, because why?"
Well,
not?
Then once the remaster does really well, then we'll greenlight the second. Then we'll greenlight the second game.
This is not going to do really well.
I mean, I'm with you, but like, I'm just like, they seem to believe it is, but you know.
Wait, this is the remastered version? It looks the exact same as it did on PS4.
That's what I said too. I was just like, I can't tell the difference. Well, it's got like new content or whatever, and probably stuff they were working on that then scrapped, and then and like new modes and stuff like that. Enhanced photo mode. Whoa.
Wait, is this something like a weird response to State of Decay 3 of all things?
I don't know. I'm sure like in reality, it's like, oh, don't forget where the zombie things, because then in like 10, 15 years when we make Last of Us Part 3, we finally convince Naughty Dog to make Last of Us Part 3, even though they don't want to. We'll remember that. Yeah, we're those guys, and I'm like, okay,
sure.
what? Don't ask.
Should probably do an intro, right?
Nah, it's all right. Whatever. Hello and welcome to another episode of It Never Ends. I'm Andrew. Over there is my good buddy Alex. Oh my God, I punched my microphone. Don't worry about that. Hopefully, you didn't even catch on the thing.
I didn't hear anything.
Well, that's good, but I'm hoping it didn't actually catch any actual audio. But if it did, I'm sorry. Anyway,
So
we're talking the state of I was about to say State of Decay, but that's not what this is.
No.
This was a state of play that happened literally today as we were recording this a couple hours ago, so this is fresh for you.
So, anything that you found interesting in the State of Decay?
I mean, Borderlands 4 got a release
In the
date.
State of Decay. My God. Fuck me.
I didn't even notice. Borderlands 4 got a launch date, which is pretty neat, and like another minute like long trailer or whatever that was like, yeah, this is Borderlands.
Did they show any new gameplay or whatever?
Yeah, they did some like there's some like where they're just like showing off some like the characters a little bit, just a little bit.
Okay.
Just like some of the gameplay, some maybe like some new guns and just like how they shoot and everything like that. It was kind of neat. I mean, it comes out in like September, so I'm thinking that at some point they're gonna do like a more in-depth thing where they'll talk about each of the Vault Hunters. That's what they did for Borderlands 3.
Yeah.
So my guess is they'll go into, and they'll show off all like the abilities and like potential builds that they think could be good with them, that type of thing. Maybe show off some of the guns that will be new, and then probably talk about the manufacturers that are coming back, and then some are not. Like it looks like TDR is coming back because there's like guns where you like throw them, and that's something that TDR is known for.
Yeah. Ooh, a grappling hook. Okay, I was gonna say it looks like Borderlands. It looks, fun, but
Yeah.
Every Borderlands game has been fun so far, so it's not really a surprise.
Yeah, the main thing with the Borderlands games is that usually, 3 was kind of off to a rough start because they didn't really balance stuff properly, and it was just kind of buggy. Mm-hmm. But like eventually it got to a good state or whatever. And that's kind of the opposite, because I feel like with like Tiny Tina's or whatever, it was like it started out really well and then they just didn't really support it, which kind of sucked. But hopefully they'll just continue to do that.
You know what I do want to... something else I do want to say is, maybe it's just me. This looks a lot more vibrant than the last couple of Borderlands games, maybe with the exception of like Wonderlands, but it's very colorful.
Kind of feels like, maybe because it's just like there's more areas than just like a few. Yeah. Basically, like Tiny Tina's Wonderlands was just kind of like rooted in like, I don't know, one area. Like, so it kind of felt like that. So it was like the backgrounds didn't really change.
I'm just seeing things like jungles. There's a cyberpunk area.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of like Borderlands 3, because Borderlands 3 you went from Pandora to Prometheus.
Yeah, that's right.
I think that's what the planet was called. So, but either way, it's like you kind of actually went around places.
Nice.
I like how we're gonna get Borderlands 4 before, like anything, before like GTA announces their, when their actual release date's going to be and everything like that.
People keep saying it's going to be this summer, so they're dead set on it coming out this year, which...
I mean, I don't doubt that it could come out this year, but I'm just sitting here going, just like, if it was summer, I feel like they would have already announced it.
Yeah.
Like, because they're going to want pre-orders up for as long as humanly possible.
We still have yet to hear more about GTA. Like, we still don't know if it's launching with an online mode at all.
Yeah, that would be interesting, honestly. Like, if like, basically just like, oh, here's the single-player game in, like, a few months to a year. Like, we'll be releasing, like, the GTA Online or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, that'll be something. But we did not see anything GTA with this one.
Well, I don't mean to be that guy when I talk about the state of play, but it feels like a lot of stuff was missing. Like, we haven't seen anything from Naughty Dog's new game. Like, I get it was announced, like, pretty recently, but I feel like we should be seeing something from that. We still haven't seen any... I was kind of expecting to hear something from Wolverine, like at least like a release date or something for that game.
Yeah.
And we still know so little about that game.
Yeah. I wonder if like the leaks just really like screwed it over. I hope not.
Yeah. Same.
I just realized this as I was scrolling through all the stuff. Dave the Diver, Ichiban's Holiday DLC. They're doing a Yakuza crossover.
Okay, what?
I just noticed that.
I guess they are.
That's quite funny, honestly.
That's weird. Okay.
It's a little different, but it's quite funny.
Hey, things can only improve in quality by adding Yakuza to it,
right?
So.
Unless you're the TV show, which, again, still don't know anything. I just heard it was really bad.
Yeah.
So.
New Splitgate's coming out.
I still can't believe that's a thing, but whatever.
Me neither.
Dude, ready for the next Five Nights at Freddy's for all the fan theories again to come out when Five Nights at Freddy's comes out again?
No. What's weird about... So, one of the more appealing aspects of the Five Nights at Freddy's series, and at least in the earlier games, was that the gameplay was so much different from basically other horror games, whereas I feel like Security Breach, it was just another generic walk around dark areas, avoid enemies kind of horror game, which is pretty much what this one's going to be. And I feel like it's ripping off Poppy Playtime, which feels weird.
Yeah, a little bit, don't it?
The trailer at least didn't feel very Five Nights at Freddy's at all.
Yeah, it's like from the very departure from the first game where you just sit in a chair looking at cameras, and then trying to keep out the animatronics from killing you. So, I would say yes, it's very much a departure from the original game.
I don't know. It's Five Nights at Freddy's. You'll take what you can get, I guess.
Exactly.
I was expecting nothing, and I'm still let down. Yeah, there's not a whole lot here.
Yeah, not a ton super interested me from all this or whatever. Just from quick scroll throughs. Maybe I'll end up watching it later on and just kind of like skimming over some of these like reveal trailers. But
I mean, some of them like like some of the DLC announcements for like Liza P. Like that's cool, but it's it's DLC.
Yeah,
it's like what do you?
It's like
what
cool
do you
little
really
add-on
want us to do with
stuffs or
that?
whatever. But like what? Like, okay.
They announced Saros, that new Hearthsmart game, but we don't know dick about it, basically. Slim pickings here. Were you ever a big Digimon guy?
I mean, I remember watching the old anime, but I was like, I couldn't tell you, couldn't tell you dick about it.
New Digimon game's coming out.
Yeah, I saw that.
I've never engaged with Digimon in my entire life, so
Really?
I can't comment on that.
That's a little surprising, honestly.
Yeah, even back when I was a kid, I was like, this just seems like a Pokemon ripoff. I don't really care about this.
It seems like a Pokemon ripoff. It's kind of because it was.
So I just didn't give a fuck. I was like, well, why would I want to
It's
do
always
this?
so
I already
funny
have
to me.
Pokemon.
It's always so funny to me that Digimon actually stuck because, like, never in my wildest dreams when I looked at this, I'm like, oh, this is a gimmick. Like, there's no way, like, this will survive past, like, fucking 3 years. But here we are.
Another thing was, remember Bakugan?
Dude, I remember that.
I remember when that first came out, my little kid brain was just like, oh, so it's like Yu-Gi-Oh, but it's terrible. I can also safely ignore this one.
Yeah.
But my brother was into it, so I kind of had to watch it.
Well, isn't Beyblade also just kind of that too? Isn't that also just Yu-Gi-Oh?
Oh yeah, no, Beyblade's even worse. Beyblade was stupid. Was really stupid.
Spinning Tops of Doom had like what was like spirits of like gods or something in them, and then they like fought or whatever. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Fucking dumb. That and Bakugan, just so bad.
Oh man, wasn't it like it was like an old like show that literally lasted I think like just a few months or whatever, but I remember they printed some cards or something like that. It was like Duel Monsters or whatever.
Yeah,
or like Duel Masters. That's what it was. That's what it was. I'm almost certain that's what it was.
There are like 5 people out there being like, screw you, I grew up with all these things. Well, it sounds like you had a shitty childhood. Instead of Fruit Loops, did you get Fruity Loops or something like that? Getting all the non-brand name cereals because you're just that different.
I'm sorry. I just found an image. I just found an image for Duel Masters. Just quickly for humor me for a second. Look up Duel Masters anime and just look at like the artwork for it, and you're going, yeah, this is what absolutely was a Yu-Gi-Oh ripoff because they're not even trying to hide it either.
Wow, that's really dumb. That is so dumb.
Oh man, that's great. All right.
Yeah, no, when Yu-Gi-Oh first came out and it just kind of exploded and took over everything.
Dude,
just like everything wanted to be just everything wanted to be Yu-Gi-Oh for a while. It's like you had this, then you had shit like Bakugan and, Beyblade and all this other bullshit. All these weird rip-off card games that just never caught on.
Yeah. Like we tried,
We tried, just not very hard.
Not very good, but it happens. Yeah, I'm like, other than what we've already talked about, it's like not much was super interesting about the state of play.
New Sonic Racing.
Yeah, New Sonic Racing was cool.
I'm down for anything Sonic the Hedgehog related.
But will it beat out Mario Kart whatever for the Switch 2?
No, obviously not. Are you fucking kidding me? It's
this will be the game that gets people over it until.
This is the game for the people that don't have the Switch 2, basically. If you don't have a Switch 2 or you just like
when you were convinced that Sonic Racing was way better than Mario Kart and whatever. But I'm gonna tell you what was the king of all of them though. Ready? You ready?
Yeah.
Crash Team Racing.
Okay.
Not actually. I'm just memeing.
I was gonna say, like, no, the Crash Team Racing games were good.
They were fun.
Plenty good. I only ever played the Nitro Field, the one that was on the GameCube.
Oh, no, I played the one that was on PlayStation 2?
I think it was the same game, though.
Probably
just different parts of the same game. But
I guess that, yeah, I mean, that was probably like one of like the few they actually made back then. Yeah.
But no, like, CTR was good. I don't really have any complaints for Crash Team Racing. Yeah, it's weird that... Man, can we just get a new Sonic Riders game? That game was so bad, but I really liked it.
Yeah.
The soundtrack for that game was still, like, unmatched. Like, the music was so good.
How many times has Monster Hunter Wilds been shown off in, like, all these ones?
Too fucking many times.
It's just so many times. Like, how much money is freaking...
People love Monster Hunter, though. You don't understand,
but, like, how much money is Capcom
huge...
spending on, like, just to have these spots in these like, showcases like that?
I mean, judging by what's here, I'm guessing that Sony paid Capcom to have it included.
Yeah, honestly, that might honestly be a thing, yeah.
I don't know, dude. There's like I was saying, there's just not a lot here.
Well,
at least
I think
the
thing that it was
anyway.
missing. Well, and the thing that I think that this state of play was kind of missing was kind of what you alluded to, where it was like there wasn't like a big game reveal at the end. It's like, yes, we got an announcement for a new game from the same people that made Returnal and stuff like that with the Thesaurus or whatever, but like. It's like it was just a cinematic that we don't have any idea exactly what any type of gameplay it is for it.
I mean, if we knew basically anything about it, then that would be a different story.
Yeah, like if this was like, this wasn't the reveal trailer for this. This was like, let's dive a little in depth in it, type thing. I think it would have been cool, but because they didn't end with like a Wolverine game or like showing off a bit more of the Naughty Dog game they announced back in the the Game Awards and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it was just like kind of just felt like it lost its punch. But I don't know, maybe I'm wrong.
General consensus for most people seems to be that this was like okay at best.
Yeah, I mean, it seems fine. Shows off a bunch of games or whatever, so put some reveal dates on some things. It seems like a little bit of each, a little bit of everything for everybody.
That's fun.
I still can't believe Splitgate 2 is a thing, considering that the first game didn't do jack shit, but...
I mean, there were some people that liked Splitgate.
I mean, yes. Yeah, there's always going to be, like, a small group of people that enjoyed this niche thing, or whatever, but it's like... Man, I remember trying Splitgate, and I'm like, I mean, I see the appeal, but, like, I just don't care. I don't know.
It's going to sound really rude, but I feel like Splitgate was popular because I remember a lot of people being like, oh, this feels like classic Halo. And then Halo Infinite came out, and basically everybody that was playing Splitgate moved over to Halo Infinite, and I do not see those people moving back to Splitgate.
Considering that like literally everyone I've heard describe Splitgate is just like Portal meets Halo, and I'm just like,
this new one does not look like Halo either, at all.
It looks more like Destiny to me.
Not even that. I would say it's like it looks a lot like remember that one Call of Duty game, Advanced Warfare?
No.
Okay, well, it's a Call of Duty game that came out when I was in high school.
Oh.
Very bad. Kevin Spacey was the antagonist.
Oh.
Yeah. Not a game that's look fondly back on. But That's the vibes at least I was getting.
All right.
I don't know, dude. Like, I feel like it's gonna be one of those live services that just comes and goes in like a day. If they try to go like the, live service, we're gonna have a battle pass or whatever model, I think it's just gonna fucking crash and burn immediately.
Well, I feel like it'll probably. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it'll end up like Concord because it's hard to end up like Concord, but
yeah, no. I feel like no matter how bad it is, it's going to do at least a little bit better than Concord did.
Yeah. It's like, don't get me wrong. It's hard to do what Concord did. But they somehow did it. Yeah. I'm just ever surprised that it's still a thing, though. So, yeah. I mean, there's not a whole lot to talk about there. I think we kind of just went through what stood out to us. There's a bunch of other stuff shown off or whatever. I didn't really care. Like, I see that they put out there was a demo apparently for the Yakuza whatever, the one in Hawaii or whatever. And I was like, oh, that's kind of neat, I guess.
I'm still on Yakuza 3, so
you'll get there eventually one day. Just one day.
One day when I turn like 40, I'll be able to play that game.
One day when you're Majima running around at Hawaii.
Hey, so eventually I'll be pretty excited for that.
Yeah.
That's fun.
And then there'll be like fucking like 40 other games that are out, and you're like, fuck. Because they basically put out like 2 a year.
I'm going to forever be behind on that series, and I'm almost okay with that.
One thing that happened non games related over the last week is something fucking insane. We talked about this when we were out on the fucking disc golf course the other day, and I was just like,
right.
So, to any NBA fans that may or may not be listening, I was like, I'm sure they already know about this deal, but for anyone else, so the Mavericks traded 25-year-old superstar Luka Doncic to the Lakers for Anthony Davis, first-round draft pick in like 2026 or something like that, or it was like 7, and it's one of the Lakers draft picks. And like, what was it? The Mexican player. I don't know. There was one other player with it, but like, they got back or whatever. I want to talk about so badly how the Lakers won this. Like, they won this trade so hard, and we haven't even seen. We've seen Luka play one game since this trade happened. Basically,
I mean, he was a really big player in like a European league, wasn't he?
He was a huge player. He was a big. He was an upcoming star at 18 years old. He was beating like professional European athletes or whatever. So he quickly transitioned over to the NBA and was still like and proved himself to be a superstar within like a year of coming over into the NBA. He's literally made five. He's literally made the All-Star team every year. Basically, except for I think except for his rookie year, I don't honestly remember. And it's like he literally led the Mavericks to the NBA Finals last year. Like without him, they would have never made it.
Yeah.
And it's just like and to get so little in return for it.
I do not. That's kind of where I'm stuck. It's like you're trading away this big superstar. I think the city that he played in also like named a day after him or something like that, like Luka Doncic Day.
I don't know.
And to just trade him for so little. No, you have to imagine there has to be like something going on behind the scenes, right?
Well, okay. Well, we'll get into that, but for the reasons why they're doing it, mainly because the GM and owners are dickheads and don't know how to run a basketball team. But and also they don't want to pay a Supermax contract because he's going to be due a lot of money coming over this next offseason because he'll have hit like the point where he's like any team could like. So the NBA is weird with how they do contracts is because they want to try to create loyalty within one team, so they want players to stick with the team that they're with, basically. So what they'll do is that the team that can offer them the most money is the team that they're already currently with, basically. So it's like when I say max contract, It's like the max that they can pay them. Now, other teams cannot pay him that contract unless they're traded him mid-season or something like that, or like after the season ends and stuff like that. It's the idea that if a player is in it for money, they'll be willing to stay for more money with this one team. Mm-hmm. So it makes sense to me. I get it. And they just didn't want to pay it, pretty much. Now, just going back to this trade though for a second. Now, I want to point out Anthony Davis is not a bad player, just kind of a little past his prime. He's still a really good center. Mm-hmm. Funny enough though, he's now hurt and probably going to be out for multiple weeks at the very minimum now after his first game with the Mavs. Me and my brother have memed for years. It was back in like 2020, 2021 or whatever. He basically got hurt every time he stepped out on the court, and we called him the man of glass. Now, he's been better with it recently. He hasn't been as hurt in recent years as he has been prior to it. But it's like the fact is that he's injury prone and like still a good player, but not always the most reliable.
I mean, it's like you said, he's a fine player. He always pulls his weight, but it's like you said, he's a little past his prime, and to trade him for like a
guy in his prime, literally going to change the face of the Lakers.
Absolutely, he is like the upcoming star in the NBA. To just trade him off to the Lakers, it's like, what the heck are you even doing, dude?
Like, the Lakers went from we don't know what our identity will be after LeBron retires, basically, to now we are all in on Luka at this point.
Yeah.
Like, and they had no trade assets going into this trade. They had very few first-round picks to work with, not a lot of players they were willing to deal, and stuff
Isn't
like
LeBron hoping that his kid is going to be the new face of the Lakers, or
I don't know. I think it was more of like it was kind of a novelty that there's never been an NBA like father-son duo up until Bronny came up last year or earlier this year.
Yeah.
So I think the idea was that we'll get to play with each other type thing. Even though Bronny definitely should have stayed in college for another year to try and get a little more experience, but it is what it is. But yeah, it's just like the Lakers went instantly from like we don't know what our face of the franchise is going to be. We don't know what we're going to do when it comes to like we're going to have to build around Anthony Davis. We'll have to see if Bronny develops in a year or two or whatever type thing. But now we're going like, now we're just going to build around our 25-year-old superstar who's already made it to the NBA Finals. Like, has shown that he can carry a team by himself. So it's crazy to me how, to me, the Lakers were a team that were kind of just like, they'll probably finish middle of the pack, probably a little lower, and make the playoffs as probably a low seed.
To getting this.
To getting Luka instantly becoming a threat in my mind. To, like a team that could probably flip their season around with just this one trade alone. And I'm just like thinking like, and the thing is as well, because it was a Lakers pick as well, like I think it was like a Lakers like I don't remember what it was, like a 2026 or 2028 or something like that pick. I don't know what it is, but it was like, so the Lakers, because it goes based off of how well the Lakers do, and the Lakers are probably going to finish pretty well because they're all in to try and win in multiple championships. So AK, this is a good, at least probably 26 overall pick. So you traded your superstar, got back a good center, a halfway decent bench player, and a 25th overall trade. Now I want to frame this for you for a second. More than a couple years ago at this point, but some years ago, the Timberwolves traded 4 first-round picks.
I know where you're going with this, yeah.
For Rudy Gobert. Now, Rudy Gobert is an offensive liability. He sucks. He cannot play offense. The only reason he's in there, and the only reason any team ever plays him, is because his defense is really good. He's a really tall, good rebounder that is a menace around the is usually a menace around the rim and stuff like that. Like, he blocks shots like crazy. That's the whole reason why anyone wants him. 4 first-round picks for him. It might have even been more, honestly. I don't even remember, but I remember it was at least 4. And I'm just like, and Memphis just got, holy shit. Like, you just got 4 first-round picks for a guy that you didn't really care offensively at all. Mavericks didn't even get that back.
They got
1.
Almost nothing, yeah.
They got 1.
Especially for a player like Luka Doncic. Like, that's why I'm saying, like, there has to be something going on behind the scenes where people are just making, like, these under-the-table deals. Because, like, to give up that much and get so little in return, it's like...
I mean, I can already hear the sports conspiracy theories flying, where it's just like the NBA is trying to keep the Lakers relevant type thing. So they basically paid the Mavericks owner and GM a bunch of money just to do this trade.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much. It's also really funny to me to think that, it was years ago at this point, probably at least 12 years ago. But I remember there was a while there where, back when Chris Paul was still with the Clippers, and that was years ago at this point, like easily over a decade. The Clippers tried to trade Chris Paul to the Thunder to turn their all-star trio of Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden into a quartet, basically, and just, like, dominate the league, basically, because now you'll have, like, a really good point guard with all those shooters and your big guy as well with Kevin Durant. And the league actually vetoed that trade, citing that they didn't think it was good for the overall health of the NBA to make mega teams.
But somehow this trade was okay?
It's crazy to me to think how different 10 years ago had been. And the thing is 2 years later, like 2 or 3 years later than that, LeBron initially left Cleveland and went to Miami, where he became part of the Big Three with Dwayne Wade himself and Chris Bosh. And then Ray Allen eventually got traded there as well. So, and you're sitting here going just like, wait, well, if we're trying to stop mega teams from happening, why did you let that happen?
I feel like that must have been just thrown out the window because, like...
Well, I mean, it's LeBron James, so we're just going to give him... We're just going to do whatever.
We're just going to let him do what he wants.
Yeah, it's LeBron James.
I don't know, dude. That's kind of sad because I do agree. Creating these mega teams is not healthy for the NBA at all.
Well, I could say it's not good for any sport. I mean,
no.
As a baseball fan, watching what the Dodgers have done over this offseason is like, huh! Yeah, they instantly, like, people talk about how like the 90s Yankees were like, you know, the most hated team in, you know, all of sports basically.
Yeah.
I would argue the Dodgers are worse.
Especially right now, yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like they went from everyone's sweethearts to number 1 villains within 2-3 days. Not even. Like, we all went, okay, fine. You finally got your World Series. Now fuck off.
Mm.
Oh, we spent what was it, $1.5 billion over this offseason, stuff like that, and most of that is deferred over the next like 40 years. Don't worry about it.
It's weird to think about, like, remembering people hating the Yankees. Like, wasn't it because like there was just like a string of seasons where they were just in the World Series every single year?
And on top of that, they were also buying all the best players. Like, they were just willing to pay so much more for all the superstars in the league to come play for them. Like, they were just willing to go super deep in the pockets where other teams just couldn't afford to pay what the Yankees were going to pay. So it's just like, oh, we watched, you know, our all-star, or like our, you know, main, like, MVP then move over and shift over there, and then they're also winning multiple World Series because they just are hoarding all the talent. It's kind of what the Dodgers are doing. But anyway,
now we're kind of starting to see that in the NBA.
See,
Well,
like
ish.
yes and no.
Yeah,
Like
okay.
here's while I don't disagree with that stance, it's like I
Mm-hmm.
look at a majority of the NBA teams that are relevant and stuff, and are like probably going to be playoff contenders, and most of them have at least a few stars on their team. So it's like it is kind of
Mm-hmm.
spread out. Obviously, there are some more than others, but like that's just always going to happen. So, but yeah, this trade's crazy. The thing, also going back to this Mavs trade as well. It's just
Mm-hmm.
like I'm sitting here going, just like the Mavericks literally signed. So they last year they traded, or was it last year or the year before? I don't honestly. I think it was the year before. Yeah, year before they traded for Kyrie Irving.
That was the year before, yeah.
Yeah, and like he was a good. He worked well with Luka or whatever, and it was like, okay, these guys are like going to be the duo type thing. And then over this offseason, they signed Klay Thompson from the Warriors, mainly because Klay Thompson was coming off his worst year in his career, and the Warriors just didn't feel like it was good to re-sign him. I think he's been halfway decent for the Warriors. I honestly don't know. But it's like, yeah, you signed all these guys to try and make it back to the NBA Finals and stuff like that, and then midway through the season, at fucking 1 a.m. and on a Saturday, everyone just got the ESPN alert saying Luka Doncic traded to the Lakers, and everyone let out a collective, "What?" Like, just what? 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 Huh? Yeah. And also just going and then just like talking about like why did the owner do this, or why did the GM decide that this is the way they're going for, which I'm just like, you didn't need to do this and anything like that, but like you really show yourself how you're kind of a piece of shit. They talked about how Luka, that they didn't believe Luka's conditioning was going to be to the point where he could play a majority of the games and be a valuable asset to the team. AKA, you called him fat and out of shape. Huh?
Damn, dude.
Huh? You just called your superstar fat and out of shape, and was worried that he was going to be too injury prone to play a majority of the games. Now, I'm no professional. I'm no, I'm not an NBA team that has millions of dollars and the best physical therapists and physical trainers and stuff like that in the world and stuff like that. You couldn't go up to Luka saying, "Hey, we think that you're putting on some extra weight type thing. Your knees are kind of giving out a little bit more. Like,
lose some weight, fatty.
Like, let's get you on a good exercise thing and stuff like that. Like, let's get you." And stuff like, let's, make sure you're in basketball shape or whatever. Because what I always talk about is like Joel Embiid is one of the biggest guys out there, and it's like he's played less games than he sat out in his NBA career. Out of I think it's 800 some games in his NBA career, he sat out over 400 of them because he's been hurt or it's a resting day for him. And I'm like, dude, you're just not in basketball condition at that point. Like, it's like you need to work out or something like that. Like, get yourself your body to the point where it can handle playing basketball at a high level. Mm-hmm. But that's the Philadelphia 76ers for you. So classic fashion. But it's like, and you couldn't tell me you couldn't settle this behind closed doors with a trainer and stuff like that, saying, "Hey, let's get you on this or whatever, so you can, so we can shed a few pounds, so you're a little lighter on the court, so that you can move faster, so the shots feel better and stuff like that." And I'm sitting here going, just like, this guy plays a lot of minutes, doesn't get hurt all that often. Literally has averaged nearly 30 points a game every year of his career. I'm pretty sure he has, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. It's around there. It's like the last few years he's got 32, 33, 28 last year. Or no, that's 28 this year. So 33, 34, and 32, and then like 28 the year before. But it's like you're averaging nearly 30 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
Does it say on average how many minutes? Yeah. Yeah, he's literally been playing, like, averaging, like, 35 minutes, 35, 37 minutes a game when there was it 44 minutes in a game? No, it's more than that. 46, 48. It's 12-minute quarters. Math. Yeah, it's 48. It's 48 minutes. 48 minutes when you're playing about 35, 36. That's pretty good, honestly. It's like, I don't know why you did that. It's crazy to me to think that it was just like you cited conditioning problems and availability problems, and they see if, and that, and also just to really quickly sneak on to the last part, and we were also concerned how much money we were going to have to pay him on his max contract. So now we see the real reason why you did this. You just didn't want to give him the big bucks because you didn't think he was worth it. Got it. So why did you put that first comment on there again?
Maybe they thought if they shit-talked him a little bit, he would bring his price down, but...
But that was after they did the trade.
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
Oh, my God. So, as you
maybe
can...
it was that there was them just coping, you know? This is how they justify this trade to themselves.
No, I think they're just fucking idiots.
That, too.
Oh man, it's like I like how you traded a guy that you said, oh, conditioning's a problem, you know, being available and stuff like that, not being injured and stuff like that is a problem, and you traded for Anthony Davis, who has had those major problems, you know, prior to this, and then his first game he plays as Mav, he hurts himself, and now he's out for at a minimum a couple weeks, probably more. Karma. At Anthony Davis' expense, unfortunately. So, I don't know. It's like, all I know is that if I was like, I like how the Mavericks offered refunds to season ticket holders that were displeased by the Luka trade and stuff like that. And I'm like, and I think a lot of them probably did it. There have literally been people that have been going like outside the stadium, like basically saying it's like sell the team, you know, it's like, or like chanting Luka, just like and going like, yeah, we weren't no one was happy about this trade. Laker fans were happy, but Maverick fans were not happy about this trade. I mean,
obviously Laker fans was happy, but I completely understand where the Maverick fans are coming from. It's like, what do you even say to that? It's like, we got rid of our star player and all we got was this in return?
Yeah, it's like, it's just almost nothing in return. It's like, maybe that first round pick will turn into something, but like very unlikely.
That is a giant gamble that you're taking.
Big if. It's like when you trade away a guy like as young as Luka is, for as big of an impact as he is, man, if you're like, man, the Lakers could have kept Davis. I know they didn't because of salary. It was because of salary cap problems. That's the whole reason why I'm pretty sure Davis got traded, is because they need to make up the difference in salary cap. But it's like, shit. If I was the Mavs, I would say keep AD and just go, I don't know, give me like 4 more draft picks. It's like, at least I could build a team together with draft picks and also try and get other teams' draft picks, not just the Lakers. It's like the Lakers can trade other picks they have from other teams. But whatever. I always like I always throw this into perspective. It's like, for anyone that's not a basketball fan, I'm just going to throw this into perspective for a lot of people. So if you're a football fan, if you're an NFL fan, imagine this as if the Eagles traded both Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley to like the Saints for Derek Carr. It's like, if you're a baseball fan, imagine trading like Bobby Witt Jr. for like Giancarlo Stanton to the Yankees for Giancarlo Stanton, and it's like you try. I don't even know what it'd be for an NHL, but like it's just like it's insane. And I'm still not over it. I'm like, I just couldn't fucking believe it. Also, real fast, just non-related to this trade, the Bucks also traded Chris Middleton away, and I was a little sad about that, considering he was like for Kyle Kuzma.
Why they traded away Chris Middleton? What the fuck? What'd they get? What'd they trade him for?
For Kyle Kuzma. And it's like, just because like he's probably not going to play this year because he's been injury prone basically the entire time. My guess is Middleton's probably going to retire after this year. I mean, maybe the Bucks will sign him back, but like, why would they? I think at this point it's just like Middleton's just kind of like, which sucks because I'm like, as big of a Chris Middleton fan as I have been over the past like many years at this point, and I was like, I don't care if his production's low or whatever, he's still a main part of this of that Bucks team.
Yeah.
And it's like that 2021 season would not have happened without Chris Middleton. It's like you can talk about, would not have been a thing without Drew Holiday, would not have been a thing without, Giannis, clearly. But like, I want to tell you right now, we would not have made it past the Hawks if it was not for Chris Middleton. Giannis was hurt that series, and Middleton stepped up and took over as the main scorer during that series. So I don't want to fucking hear it from anyone. I was like, I have heard it over many years, over the last couple years about it was like, the Bucks should just get rid of Middleton and stuff like that. I'm like, no, he's still a heart and soul of this team. It's like I know he's had injury problems and his production's been way down, but it's like you can't trade him. But then they finally did this year for fucking Kyle Kuzma. It was just a little sad. This Luka trade is going to go down as one of like the biggest NBA trades of all time. It's just like
easily 100%.
Like we're gonna look like people. We'll look back on this like 5 years later, and we're gonna go like, how the fuck? Like, why the fuck did they ever do that? It's like when the Mavs are in an even worse spot than they already are, and you sit there going just like, yeah, it's almost like we should have got back more for Doncic, or just not trade him in general. Usually with trades like these, you can kind of like, we'll wait and see how it kind of plays out. We can already see it. We already know it.
Like, we don't need to wait and see.
We don't need to wait. We know what happens.
Yeah.
It's like I wouldn't be surprised if
refunding their season tickets.
I really would not be surprised if over this offseason, Kyrie Irving requests to trade and Klay Thompson requests to trade, along with Anthony Davis. I could see this. I could see the Mavs blowing up this entire team, like 100%. Like 80 will try and go back to the Lakers or something like that, and like I don't even know. Also, I think that like literally like 2 days later, the freaking Warriors traded for Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler, the problematic guy that was playing for the Miami Heat. I say playing in quotations because he was so unhappy apparently in Miami that he was violating code of conduct, like team code of conduct, being suspended by the team themselves for actions detrimental to the team, and somehow got more for him than they got than the Mavs got for Luka. Why the Warriors gave up as much as they did and Miami had as much freaking bargaining power as they did for Jimmy Butler, I'll never know. Because they should not have. So yeah, the Heat got freaking Andrew Wiggins, Kyle Anderson, Davion Mitchell, not Donovan. Davion Mitchell. And a 2025 first-round protected pick from the Warriors. And they got Jimmy Butler for cash and a little bit of cash from the Heat and 2 second-round picks. Bro, you gave up way too much. I was like, maybe I could see that maybe they just didn't want Wiggins. Kyle Anderson's kind of a weird one. The Mitchell guy came from the Raptors, part of like this big 5-team deal, but it's like, and a first-round protected pick? Bruh. Wiggins and Kyle Anderson should have been enough. Like, if you're trying to trade for a guy that's literally detrimental to the team that's trying to trade him,
mm-hmm.
you have no bargaining power. So how the fuck did you win that deal?
I don't know, dude.
I don't know. You could say they lost that deal because the Warriors are like 2-0 since Jimmy came over, and I'm just like, I'll give it like a year before he causes more problems. He's one of those problematic players that I don't know, everyone seems to like, even though he's literally just everywhere he's gone has turned into a toxic waste hole of just like I heard reports of just like bullying and just overall just like not good vibes and anything like that, just being total dickheads to each other, and it's just like mm-hmm. and generally not being a great locker room to be in, and I'm like, I wonder why. But he's a good player, and that's why anyone wants him. And I go, why? If all he does is cause problems 2 years later, why the fuck does anyone want him? I don't know.
Is he any good?
I mean, yeah, he's good, but like, just not worth the headache, bro. Not worth the headache. In my mind, just not worth the headache. See, the thing is he's only good if he likes who he's playing with and the ownership and stuff like that. If he thinks he's being treated right and stuff like that. If he thinks he's being slighted, even in the least, and whether or not he actually is or isn't, if he believes he is, then he's like, fuck this shit. I'm not going to be playing. I'm going to cause major problems. I'm going to be flinging shit around. You're going to be suspending me and shit like that, and everyone's just going to hate me.
So why do they want this guy?
I don't know. It's the same thing. It's the same thing I said, because he wins basketball games, and I go, fine. Like I said, as long as he's on your side, shouldn't be a problem. But the instant he feels slighted in the least, all bets are off at that point. As you can tell, I'm not a big Jimmy Butler fan.
No, I'm getting that impression. Want to talk about Rooster Teeth?
Oh, yeah. Forgot we didn't talk about that, did we?
No, it's been a while.
Yeah, Rooster Teeth's back. Bernie bought it from WB, basically, which is really cool, honestly. I'll be curious to see what he does with it, honestly.
Yeah.
I'll be like, will it just be kind of like, doing little like shows or whatever? Or is it basically just going to be like a, namesake for like podcasts, or like just doing like, kind of fun stuff or whatever?
He says he wants to bring it back to its roots, so I'm not really sure what that means. I'm guessing that they're going to bring back things like Achievement Hunter, the RT podcast.
See, the thing is I mean, yes, the RT podcast I definitely could. I definitely could and probably will happen. Mm-hmm. But like Achievement Hunter, I'm sitting here going, just like, as far as I can tell, no one, like, if he's hoping to bring back, it's like, we'll bring back, Gavin, Michael, and all the like Trevor and Alfredo and stuff like that. And they go, mm-hmm. They're off doing their own things. I don't think they want to come back. It's like,
are you sure they wouldn't be interested?
I mean, maybe, but like, generally to me, from what I get from listening to their podcasts and stuff like that, mm-hmm. and they go, they're still sticking as an independent company, basically. Like, they're still going to do their own thing. And from what I gather, they're just kind of like whatever with it. I'm sure they'll do collabs and they'll probably see them on like some content, but as will be under Rooster Teeth, I don't know. I kind of doubt it. My guess is he'll either find other people to do, if he does do like Achievement Hunter and stuff like that again. Mm-hmm. I guess that probably won't. It'll probably be more of just like, funny bits and like, RTP and any other shows or whatever. I wouldn't be surprised if he even tried to like, I don't know, maybe like do more Camp or something like that, or just some more animated stuff in general. But who knows? I'm just kind of glad though. I was like seeing it be rebought back from WB, who just like says, "Oh, we're just going to cleanse everything that we don't give a shit about." And then just go, whatever, fuck it. We don't give a fuck about what's Rooster Teeth. Get it out of here, type thing.
Hopefully he can just save all that old content. Then that's good.
Yeah, whatever like is still under the Rooster Teeth banner or whatever that's still there. It's like Ruby's already a part of Viz. A lot of the podcasts kind of already sprung off and have done their own thing. Like Stinky Dragon's still going to be. Like, they partnered with Critical Role not that long ago or whatever.
Damn, I actually didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, like, they're under the like, if you are subscribed to Beacon, which is the Critical Role, like, service or whatever, like, their little, like, Patreon little thing, it's like, you can listen to ad-free Stinky Dragon. Like, it's a part of their service. So it's like, I don't think they have any intentions on leaving that, and it's like 100% Eats already talked about how they're pretty much doing okay, so they're going to continue to do what they're doing because they're having more fun doing what they want to do. It's like what I get other from that is like Gus doesn't really want to come back. I'm sure he'll be on the RTP and stuff like that, but it's like Jeff doesn't have any intentions of wanting to do that. It's like he's all in a regulation pod. So I'm just like,
damn, I didn't know any of that.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, so it's like all these, like, I'm not saying like everyone from RT that is like going to like, oh, I don't want to go back to RT. I'm like, I'm sure some will. But like
the grand majority is kind of out.
I think a lot of like the big heavy hitters are kind of were after Rooster shut down, they were all like, all right, we got to figure out how to do our own thing. And then once they realized that, you know, now we have a company, we have something built up here, and then all of a sudden to hear, oh, Rooster Teeth got bought back by Bernie, and it was like, okay, well, you can have fun, Bernie. We're gonna go be over here doing our own thing.
Yeah,
it's like, you know, come talk to us if you want to do RTP. I mean, I think it'd be really funny if for the first episode of when he respins up the RTP is like, it's literally Bernie, Gus, Gavin, and Barbara who did it for so many years. It's like that'd be really funny if that was the case.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
I don't know. I imagine he must have some sort of plan worked out because plans. I feel like he wouldn't be announcing it if he didn't have. Yeah.
At first, I thought it was going to be like, oh, he just didn't want to have like Warner Brothers have it or whatever. But then it was like, no, he's like actually got plans for it and everything like that. And I was just like, oh, neat. And maybe that's just maybe building, like, bringing on new content creators to kind of, like, fill in the hole and stuff like that. Like, they have, like, their own, like, gameplay series or something like that. That's, you know, whether or not they call it, you know, Achievement Hunter. Probably won't call it Achievement Hunter if I had to guess. Probably be called its own thing.
I mean, just sponsoring, like, up-and-comers in the industry, like, maybe some lower-profile content creators that he thinks have talent and just need the exposure. I think that'd be really cool if he wanted to do that.
Yeah, considering that, like, you know, after COVID time or whatever, when they were all starting to get back into the office, like, they brought in, like, you know, guys like Joe Lee and BK and Kai or whatever. So it was just like, you know, even Fiona and stuff like that. Prior to that, it was like, yeah, all people that I think had like a lot of talent that just didn't really get like as much exposure and stuff like that. And then they've all formed into bigger things. Like, obviously, like, I think Joe was a big streamer. I'm pretty sure all of them were big streamers prior to joining Rooster Teeth. But, yeah, there's just kind of more stuff to do and, you know, under a more secure roof at the time. But not. It was just really satisfying to hear that one day. I was just like, oh my God, it's back. I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
It was just like, it just made me happy. That's really in the end what had happened.
Yeah. It's nice knowing that this brand just isn't just straight dead now. The fact that it just wasn't, you know, well, it was dissolved into nothing, but it's back at least, which is good.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are my general thoughts about it, and I was like, I'll whatever is being done with Rooster Teeth or whatever, I'll probably watch and support it if I can, if I like it or whatever. It's like
we'll see what they put out.
Yeah, see what happens. It's like if it's like Bernie just wants to do like the RTP with a few other shows, maybe some gameplays with like some new people or whatever. Mm-hmm. Do some like do some stuff with like Gus and with Gus and Jeff and whatnot and Jack or whatever. I wonder if Jack will be able to go. Like I'm sure he'll bring back Jack to do Extra Life under Rooster Teeth again. That'd be neat.
Yeah,
I'm sure he will.
Mm-hmm. If you played DBD, I would want to talk about them bringing 2v8 back for the Resident Evil anniversary. But
still not a big fan of the 2v8.
No, it's gotten way, way worse.
Oh, no.
Like, it is unbelievably worse. Like,
no.
They can't even fill Survivor lobbies up anymore, so they've had to result in having bots just in from the outset. And they are terrible and are annoying everybody. It is still incredibly one-sided, and especially even more so now. It's like, out of like the 20 or 30 matches that I played, I think I only ever escaped once.
Huh.
Like, it is horrible. And the BP incentives are up to like 300%. And people are saying now that they should give survivors things like iridescent shards or even ARC cells in order to queue up for survivor matches, which, if you don't know, are both different types of in-game currency which you can use to buy things like character DLCs and outfits. So the fact that people are saying that survivors need to be, incentivized with things like free DLC just to queue up for a match shows you just how desperate it is. Like, if they ever, and I mean ever, bring this game mode back, you still have those stupid people that are like, they should make this a permanent mode, which, no, never. That would fundamentally break the game forever, and I would probably uninstall it. But if they ever want to bring this mode back, they need to make playing Survivor at least bearable, if not a little bit more fun, because it is just miserable right now. Killer queue times, I think, are up to like 30, 35 minutes just to get into a single match, which is insane.
Yeah, that's nutty.
And people are doing that. They're streaming themselves playing Killer in the 2v8 modes, and they'll put a timer up to show like the 20 to 30 minute times they're waiting to get into a single match, and on the side they'll be playing a different game while waiting to queue up for this one.
Oh yeah,
it is. That
reminds me of old League of Legends days.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when they first introduced role queue to League of Legends or whatever, no one wanted to play support. So, like, people would just keep, like, a vast majority were, like, middle, 80 carry, and top. No one wanted to play jungle. More people wanted to play jungle than support. So people would load into a queue. They'd open up Hearthstone and start playing Hearthstone until it finally found somebody.
That's...
I remember those days.
That is where Dead by Daylight is at the moment. So I have
rough spot.
Yep, I think it's done a 25th. I think they said. So I have another 2 weeks before I can play Dead by Daylight again.
Oh damn!
I may log in just to try and get like once the I don't know, the next part of the Rift opens up to try and get through some more of my battle pass, but I will play just the straight base game mode. I won't queue up for 2v8. Like, fuck that. And I get the appeal. Like, the killer side is fun and interesting. That's why people are only ever queuing up for that mode.
Yep.
And why it's taking so damn long. And I also sympathize with those people that are like, well, I want to play Killer with my friends. you kind of reap what you sow, dude. That's fair enough, but if nobody wants to play against you, you're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place there. It's like you can't blame people for not wanting to play this role when it's so much less fun than the latter one.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, if Behavior wants to give me a bunch of free outfits and DLC for just queuing up as Survivor, why the hell not, dude?
Hell yeah, I'll take it, brother.
I'd be down for that.
We take that.
Did my mic pick up that fart? Because that was beautiful.
I heard "prr," and I was like, "What?"
Yep. Okay. That's all I got, though. I'm just really frustrated. I want this game. I just want this game mode to go away and never come back.
Fair enough.
Because I actually like playing that game.
Fair enough.
Okay, rant over. We can end now.
Yeah. Anyway, thank y'all so much for listening to another episode of It Never Ends, where we talked about video games and Luka Doncic's stupid trade or whatever that the Mavs made, and other sports things.
Talk about all kinds of stuff on this podcast.
Exactly.
It's always a good time too, though.
Exactly. So be sure to follow any links that are below on the show notes. Follow on YouTube. Posties on YouTube. It's the exact same, except you get to see our lovely, lovely faces. And we'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.
Peace.